Welcome to DimSim Labs, and thanks for having us as well. This is going to be the first, we've planned for 6 months worth of talks at DimSum. Do you say DimSum or DimSim?
DimSum.
Okay, it's very hard. My Australian wants to say DimSim. DimSum Labs, and and we're going to kick it off with one of the hottest topics, I guess, in web at the moment, and Gen AI, and on that DeepSeek. And we're going to be looking at how you can get it running on a Raspberry Pi. But before that, I'll just do a quick welcome. Hong Kong Web Dev is a Hong Kong-based web developer community. We have around 300 members on the Meetup group. I also have just started using Luma. I don't know if you guys know that, but it's an alternative to Meetup. And I'm starting to push through there because Meetup is being a little bit of a pain to use and expensive. It's like $300 US a year. So whereas Luma's free. You might see a few more events moving through to that channel instead. We're looking for presenters and ideas for workshops, as well as bigger spaces potentially if we get bigger crowds. So if you have any of those, just reach out to me. And if we're also looking for support and sponsorship, so that we can do more things like workshops and get bigger presenters in and stuff like that. So if you want to connect, one of the best ways to do that is on the Discord channel, which we have a QR code up there. It's also on our website, which we just launched this month. And it's very basic at the moment, but we are just trying to keep it all in one space, because we were getting feedback that when you search for Hong Kong Web Dev, nothing came up. So we've just done that website, and hopefully that will help with that problem. I think that's pretty much it, and then I'll just hand it over to DimSum.
Yep. Hi, welcome to DimSum Labs. We are a community of makers and tech enthusiasts, and we rent a space. And this space is available to all members 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we do co-working. We also do socials like these every first and third Tuesday of the month. We pay all for it by ourselves through either the donations that you. Oh, thank you. Yeah. So through the donations that through the fridge, if you buy a drink from us, if you would like to also donate for using the space tonight, that's also an option. And through memberships. So we have a membership scheme, about 700 Hong Kong dollars a month, to get access to the space 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and to the wonderful tools that we have here: 3D printers, resin printers, laser cutters, electronics bench, and all the nice things. Probably some server space as well if you want that. More relevant to the web dev crowd. So that's DimSum. Thank you so much for coming tonight, and thank you so much for Hong Kong Web Dev for reaching out. It's always great to have events here, and having constant events is a great thing in our schedule as well. We just need to sync up on publishing the events on our page as well as your page.
I've actually got something here. So
yes. So how to become a member on the left, and I guess they're both the same.
Yes. I was going to do was put something else in there, but I ran out of time. Basically, there's the Hackjam, which is every Tuesday, right?
We've moved it to the first and third Tuesday. It was a bit too much of a commitment for people to come in. So
what I was going to put here was every third Tuesday would be HK Web Dev.
Yes.
And then other Tuesdays is Hackjam.
Is our normal Hackjam
program.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Cool.
I'll update the slide before I send it.
Yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, welcome. I know half of you, so I'm not going to really do an introduction, but I'm a creative technologist and innovation technologist living in Hong Kong. I've been here for a year, used to live here for a while, took a holiday in Shanghai, Sydney, and now I'm back. And I explore the world of art, design, and technology. So I have to be honest, I created this slide in Gamma. I don't know if anyone's heard of Gamma, but it's amazing. You just put in a prompt and it spits out a presentation. I had to go back and tweak it, and there's some funky stuff in there, like if you look closely at the Raspberry Pi, it looks quite mangled. I was going to replace it, but I thought it was funny.
Did you put in just like write a presentation about running DeepSeek,
Yeah.
or did you put in actual information?
I did. I just ripped off Gen AI for a Gen AI talk. But I had to do a little bit of prompt engineering just to make it a little bit better. And then I went in and changed the code because the code part was wrong. It was fine for a different approach because there's obviously more than one way to do it. But I changed it to the way that I wanted to show it. So yeah, and I think you get 8 presentations free and then you have to start paying. And yeah, it's great. So yeah, we're going to be exploring how to run DeepSeek 1 on a Raspberry Pi. So I think one of the things that we're all sort of talking about in this area is how much energy Gen AI takes up. And the hottest sort of topic is the running a lower energy or distilled version of a model, and how you can even do it before DeepSeek. There's other ways of doing it on smaller, low-powered devices. As long as you've got enough sort of memory to load the model in, you can be fine. So DeepSeek is also interesting because it's all open source, whereas OpenAI, although it sounds like they're quite open, are not very open at all. DeepSeek is based on Llama. Actually, they have various versions, but they are sort of competitors to OpenAI, so they use alternative open source models, and then they have a really interesting approach to what they're calling reasoning or thinking, where it replies and it shows you how it's actually rationalizing the answer that it comes to, which we'll see in a minute. And why the Raspberry Pi? Because it's awesome, and we use it a lot at work, and I've been using it. I remember when my friend back in Australia told me about these little computers designed for education, the Raspberry Pi, and that was like 15 years ago or something, and now it's, I don't even know, I think are they listed?
Yep.
Yeah, now they're listed, so, and they've got...
up since...
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, this just sort of shows the popularity of it. And I guess some of the other things that you could do as well is like hook into some of the GPIO like ports and start doing things like triggering DeepSeek based on sensor input or even sensor output. You could, have it trigger lights based on different inputs and responses, and yeah, so I've got an idea that I wanted to get done I wanted it ready for presentation today, but I think it's going to be part 2 where I'll have to use a GPU to help with some of the responses, but I'm going to try and build on the project that I'd already started, which is using James Joyce's stream of consciousness. So it's going to be a stream of consciousness from James Joyce sort of influenced poetry, and it'll just continually read the poem. And yeah, and I'm going to try and do some visuals based on that as well. So maybe rendering the text in a certain fashion, showing graphics, triggering lights, different sounds and stuff like that. So trying to tie it back into the real physical world. And it's portable and inexpensive. So today we're going to look at how we can run it without the GPU. And like all the tutorials online on how to connect a GPU say that the most expensive part is the GPU if you start doing that, because you can get set up with a Raspberry Pi SD power supply for $100 US. It's pretty crazy. And yeah, so what you can do, you can actually run it on the Pi 4, but we have a 5 here just because I wanted the PCIe slot for the next edition, but it does run as well. It runs not quite as well, but it will run on the Pi 4. You do have some limitations. Obviously, RAM is the biggest issue because you can't extend the RAM, which is why we're sort of talking about VRAM and GPUs, and yeah, low processing power. And they recommend a few other things which I've ran into. I just went out of the box, didn't add anything, so I don't have a heatsink, I don't have the external hard drive, and I don't have the GPU. So if you want to beef it up, that's how you do that. And so you have to make sure that you're using 64-bit. It won't run on 32. This setup requires Python to be installed. The original demo here is using PyTorch, but I forgot to take that part out of the slide. We don't need PyTorch on this, and we don't need Llama, but if you wanted to do the low-level one where you're downloading the model rather than the approach that we're going to take, which is with Ollama, then yeah, you do need those things on the right. So this is it. This is all you need to do to get it running, assuming you've got it set up, assuming you've installed your OS correctly, and you have the software available. You just need to run an update. You install curl so that you can grab Ollama and install through that command there. And then you just check that it's installed, and then it's just as easy as running Ollama run DeepSeek. So this is the other option where we use Python and and then you download the model and run it through the more manual approach. And you can get a little bit more control with some of the settings and configuration. But yeah, like I said, I didn't go down that path. It was probably like episode 2 for me. So yeah, and this is just sort of doubling up, but it just sort of shows some of the pros and cons of why you would do this. The beauty is that we can run it without internet. So you could have the model completely local. So for different scenarios where you think of IoT where limited internet is available, this is a great opportunity for that. And obviously, yeah, low cost. But yeah, you run into all the different problems. So we'll see shortly what some of those are. But basically, it's not as performant. So some of the use cases I mentioned, it could be used to do your own private LLM, but you could do, it's also known for code completion, though I don't know if, I haven't heard of anyone using it for that, but you could set up your own sort of GitHub Copilot thing on your own private network, which is handy if you don't want to share your source code, say you're NASA or SpaceX or someone like that. And yeah, as I was saying before, integration with the sensors, and yeah, totally offline. Yeah, so there's some exciting sort of stuff happening in this area. I sort of post just on the way here that there's a new Jetson that's come out, which claims to be the fastest and best AI-based like single board computer. I know that they're quite expensive though, but I guess you'd have to compare it to like having a separate GPU and a Pi. I think it's all wrapped into the one bundle. But there's also, my friend runs a project called Rapid Analysis, and it's an edge-based like machine learning PC or single board computer that is quite scalable and very affordable. It's $100 US as well. So there's a lot of this sort of stuff happening at the moment. So let's jump into it. Any questions so far?
Just very quickly, what is the 1.5B that is on DeepSeek? Right? So
Yeah.
the smallest, right?
Yeah, we can have a look.
Yeah, like the 1 GB one, right?
Yeah, 1.5 GB. The next one up is like 7
Yeah.
7 gig, and I ran out of memory already there, so I can't do a comparison.
Yeah, all good, all good, all good.
But
Running the R1, right?
oops, yeah, wrong one.
But, yeah.
Yeah, so what's Olama? Has anyone done stuff with Olama before? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so it's a way of running models locally. You can use it to serve as well, so Docker images are available, and yeah, you can use it as a Gen AI sort of platform. And so a lot of people post their models up there, including DeepSeek, and you can, let me increase that, it's tiny. So yeah, R1 is different to the one that they use on their website or in the app, which is the larger one. This is a distilled version where we have various iterations of it. So you can see the keyword distilled there, and then the way that they've distilled it is unique in that I don't totally understand it, but they take the large model, and then they use a different model to extract the important or relevant pieces out of it. And so in this one, they've used Quen to extract it down to distill it down to 1.5, which is 1.5 billion parameters. And that sounds like a lot, but the largest one, I think the largest one is bigger than that, isn't it? I think it's like 300 billion. 700? Yeah. I don't know what the largest one.
700 billion params. The params are on top.
Yeah.
The size is 400 GB. I think it's on the drop
This
down.
one?
Yeah, on the drop down. Yeah, you can see the size.
Then you need like a 3K setup on the machine.
Yeah. It is, yeah, you need a lot of GPUs. Yeah, 671 billion.
I didn't know exactly.
So because I used a small SD card, I can only run the 1.5 billion model, but that's fine. We just want to do a proof of concept. If I was to do this again, I'd probably go from a 16 gig up to a 32 gig, and that would allow me to load up the model for probably 7B and 8B, but I might do 14. But yeah, let's just go with this one. So you can go here and you can check the difference between them all. There's some benchmarks and comparisons there as well. So, all right, so that's really hard to see. So I've gone through the whole process already of installing everything. So just to refresh, we had to do, oh my God, sorry. Maybe I won't do that, I'll jump back here. Yeah, just installing Olama, and then the main thing you need to do is run this line here, which is just Olama run DeepSeek and then the model number. In this case, R1 1.5 B. Oops, I always forget that. I'm just going to type it. And then colon 1.5b. And if you don't have the model already, it will go off and download it. And then it loads it into memory. So it's loaded up. So we can ask it a question, like any ideas? Okay. This is going to blow up my pie. Sorry. You have to figure it out yourself.
Ask it for the meaning of 42.
Okay. So you can see how fast it's kind of running, but
It's no memory, but
oh, so we can also let's go. Sometimes if you ask the question again, it'll do it. It'll actually answer it. This one, it's not going to though.
maybe you can ask her what is bigger between 9.11 and 9.99? 9.9 and 9.11.
Okay.
Ask it if it is indeed an AI system or if it thinks it's an AI
9.9 and 9.11.
I should have put Phobos. So it's not doing it here, but normally in that think, actually maybe it is doing it. Usually between the think brackets, it shows the reasoning. And when you get the bigger models, it shows you how it came about that.
How many hours are in strawberry?
Yeah. We'll ask that one. I'm going to ask another one first.
Did I get it right?
Yeah, you got it right.
Satisfied? So this is the one that they sort of use as a bit of a benchmark. But you can see, so there's no thinking in there. It just sort of gets the closest answer and then answers it. So if you go with the bigger models, you start to get better reasoning and thinking process, and you get more accurate results. So it's pretty impressive that it's running on like $100 computer with, I think that power supply is like 20 watts or something like that, 27 watts. And it actually draws, they say it draws around, like in idle, it draws around 5 watts. When it's doing the computation, it's drawing, I think, I'll have to figure it out, but it's drawing like probably the full capacity of 27, which is about what the GPU or the other like ChatGPT and stuff use on idle. Yeah, so
It's interesting you got the concept right and you failed to mention the name.
yeah,
You
it has
mentioned
before.
radio scattering, which is what it should have done.
It did last night.
It's the scattering of the atmosphere, but I guess.
Yeah.
It mentioned it last night. Let me just run it again. Oops, is verbose like that? It's not printing out the token.
I wonder if you could run verbose on the Olama run instead of in the chat.
Oh, maybe.
That's a good summary though.
Yeah, maybe. I dropped a video into the slide that recorded when it answered with the actual name. What is it?
Radio scattering.
Ray scattering. Yeah.
Rhys, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
When you mention like sort of multimodal input of like sensor data or something, in
Yep.
what form would that be implemented?
Yeah, so we're only looking at the command line, I guess, interface for this, and you can run Olama as a server. You can serve as a service, so locally you can connect to it, and then do things like have a web app that might do something with processing, or you could run something in Python or C#. And then with that bridge, you can do anything. You could trigger sound, you could run visuals, you could have a front end for this chat, or you could have something that, you know, a piece of software like a Node.js software that runs. And in my case, for the poem, what I want to do is just ask it to write a paragraph, and once that paragraph's finished, write another paragraph, and then just keep doing that. But on the front end, like that'll be running in the back end, and what will happen on the front end is I'll receive the results, the response, and then render that up. So, and then I could potentially even do other things like send it to DALI or some other like stable diffusion and render images. But what I was going to do is just run a filter over the text. You could put the text into WebGL. You could pass it into voice, speech to text. You could, and then you're going back out through the audio. You could do some stuff with DMX and have like lighting affected. But yeah, once this, and I can show you that next if we want. Once this is running and you have Olama as a service running this model, you can connect to it and do pretty much anything that you would as a normal sort of web service. Have you guys done that? Like,
You can run it locally. I just set up to have my browser in the browser, you know, in Chrome. So this chat can give an idea.
Yeah, you use the web UI.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll show that next on my computer. So to exit out of DeepSeek, you can do /BYE, and it exits out. And then if you do Olama, I don't know what will happen here. Serve. I haven't set it up, but if you set up I think you need a config file, and yeah, I haven't done all this yet. But there's a command that you can run Olama serve, and it will serve up the active model, and then you can connect to it as a service.
I wonder if it's already running.
Already running, yeah. You should
Yeah.
have it already running, I think.
Oh, okay. And then, do you know what port it runs on?
Is there one?
Oh, it's this? It won't show me anything though, will it?
I believe they have, but there is
Yeah,
Olama.
Olama is running.
No, not to do the so you have the server running there, but there is like an access. Do you have access to the internet?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go just get an extension for Chrome that has, or this should have, that has the Olama chat.
I can just show on my PC. I mean, on my Mac maybe.
Yeah, just this. There is a bunch of them. No, if you click there on the extension, it should
Alright.
open the chatbot. Yeah, that will call the APIs.
I know.
So there, yeah, it should be green on top. Can you ask something? I think you will recognize. Yeah, I can reach it.
Oh wow.
If you type on the bottom,
All right.
I think you will talk with your agent or something.
But we're currently not running an agent, so I'm very curious to see what happens.
What is there on top? Because you can have, Olama can have multiple selected actually running. What is that?
All right.
Offline, yeah.
Because a cool thing of these extensions, you can install, serve multiple modules and then compare with the same
Response time. All right.
if these extension remotely works or not.
Okay.
Maybe run the model as well in the background, or does that not work?
It says it's already serving.
It should be running already.
Okay.
Maybe the extension is rubbish, but
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I didn't get that far in this presentation, but I was going to show you on my computer. So if I share. Oh, you won't be able to see. Are you able to switch to my feed?
It's a bit more complicated, but
You've got one more cable, or use this one.
Actually, it's fine.
Use this one.
Oh, yeah. Actually, it's fine. Don't worry. We can. What I'll do, I'll just pull up the website. Oh,
any idea
what's wrong with the? What's going on there? Is it-
Screen's gone wobbly.
I can adapt.
The Raspberry Pi.
this thing, there is one extension that's good. You can even add other questions because we resend the same.
So OpenWeb UI is a tool that does exactly what that plugin does, and you can install it and have a ChatGPT style chatbot or agent running locally, and you can just converse with different models that you have installed. and basically serve up the model in a way that makes it practical in a way to use it. So that was just the next step that I was going to show you how to do that. But I think I don't find it that practical because you can do that on your phone or on your computer anyway. So it's interesting, but I think something that's more interesting is leveraging the GPIO outs and potentially like hooking into a GPU for more power and doing something visual or more I guess a richer approach. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Here's the video. So this one shows the other response, but you've already sort of seen it. Cool. So thank you. Any questions or discussion?
I'm just surprised how quick it actually runs it. I was running what's it, CodeStar for autocomplete and something like this, and it was not as fast as what's happening now on the Raspberry Pi. So quite fascinated how quickly it works even on the Pi.
There's a big difference between running this one and then running it the next model up, like 1.5 to 7 is like 4 times bigger. So you end up getting, it runs quite slow. It's noticeable. But this is fine, like for just general sort of stuff. If you're happy with the responses, then yeah. It starts to go a bit funny when, you ask harder questions, I guess.
I wonder what sort of use cases, like more concrete use cases people have on the Raspberry. Like, I mean, you mentioned sort of roughly, right? Like,
Yeah.
But I wonder what sort of concrete thing.
Maybe
And whether
automobiles,
enough. Yeah.
in auto maybe, if they wanted it in that for, I don't know, chatting with the helps, like FAQs on how to change your oil.
On a Raspberry.
Yeah, or it could be like a similar
Because you
system.
mentioned something earlier that seemed like some, I don't know, I was thinking about your touch designer again, some sort of audiovisual thing with Raspberry, and maybe it's in your smart home and then you have an input, wherever you have an input natural language, and then it changes the lights and changes the music, and
Yeah.
because it's so language driven, maybe can do something.
Yeah, like
Maybe in a boat is the only case I know of a guy that actually used
In a
Raspberry
boat.
Pi. Because on the boat you lose
Wi-Fi.
connection really fast. So people that go around like the island or a little bit farther, many people they put the
He's
phone
out there asking why the sky is blue.
Or not blue.
Well, my boat is sinking. What do I do?
Some Dungeon and Dragon Dungeon Master. She went to some games on board.
Oh yeah.
While you're sinking.
Yeah.
Rhys, you can have like medical advice for lost tigers.
Yeah.
I've been bitten by something, what do I do?
This is it. Yeah.
It's just gonna say, I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to answer this.
Well, in Australia, there were those massive fires that took out the whole network, the phone network. No one had internet. So it would have been good then for, I don't know, a game of charades.
Every circuit box in the house has a little Raspberry Pi that can run an LLM. So like if
Yeah.
the house goes down, how do you get everything working?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of practical excuses.